Hey there friends, how's it going? This is David Potts with Song Notes, and today we're going to be looking at Yellow Ledbetter by Pearl Jam from 1992. I'm going to do a semi-simplified version of this, right? This is not going to be note for note exactly what the guitarists in Pearl Jam are playing, partially because a lot of folks on the internet have already covered that, and number two, a lot of that stuff I really can't play, like a lot of the rapping thumb, those Jimi Hendrix chords. I can't do it, so I'm going to sort of cut a few corners, but it's still going to sound good, right? And those of you who are wizard enough to get going with things, I'm sure you can figure out the rest. But for everyone else who really wants to play this song, stick with this lesson and I'll show you how to do it, right? So I'm going to start with that riff. It's a distinctive riff you hear in the intro, you hear it at the very end of the song, and if you're good enough, you can play it during the verse as well, right? But let's get into that intro starting right about now. Okay, I recommend when you're learning any tab like this, right? You want to sort of zoom out and understand the big picture, the lay of land. What are the chord shapes your left hand should be using? You sort of work those out, and a lot of the details are just going to fall into place, right? So here's what I'm going to end with, this tab. But first, I want to talk about just these chord shapes, right? And I have them written on page 1 of my song sheet. They're written underneath the chords. I want to talk about these first, because you'll learn these, and again, your fingers will sort of naturally figure out where to go for all those details, okay? So the simpler way to look at the intro would be like this. It's a 4-measure sequence. You're going to play it twice, and it's going to be over an E chord, right? Then a B, then an A, and then back to an E. But we're not going to use those voicings, right? What we're going to do for the E, now you're not really ever strumming this, but still, the position you should be thinking is this, right? Open, 11th, 9th, 9th. And with those 9th fret notes, we're going to be barring with our left index finger. Okay, on strings 3 and 4. We're going to push down with our index finger. It's just a 2-string bar, but it's a great little exercise if you want to sort of work on your bar chord muscles there. It's not a full, like, 6-string bar. It's just two strings. But what it lets you do is, you know, okay, we're going to sort of work up to that, but you really want to have your left index finger sort of owning those 9th fret notes, okay? Now, the B chord and the A chord use the same shape. It's going to be this sort of thinnest 4 strings that come from this E-shaped bar chord. Now, you could play the full B major up here, fret 7, 8, and 9, and the full A major bar chord on frets 5, 6, and 7. But instead of doing the full chord, we're just going to be on the thinnest 4 strings. So the shape you sort of want to memorize if you can is this one right here. Okay? Similar to that E, it's going to have this mini bar on the thinnest 2 strings. So for the B, we're going to have 9, 8, 7, 7. Okay, our index finger is barring that thinnest 2 strings on the 7th fret. That's our B, and our A is the same exact shape. It's just slid down the neck 2 frets, so it's 7, 6, 5, 5. Okay, and after that measure of A, we're going to come back to the E, which you could just play the low E string for. The open string, the thickest string, just play it open. That's an E note. And in this last measure, we're not going to do any strumming. It's all going to be fills, right? Sort of some pentatonic stuff. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So that's the lay of the land, right? Let's get sort of used to those, right? And we'll be in good shape for what's to come. Okay, now you'll notice that when people online, other teachers teach the B and the A, they're going to show this wrapped thumb version. I think this is like a sort of Jimi Hendrix style chord. I can't wrap my thumb and get my pinky up here on the thinnest string, so I'm not going to do any thumb wrapping in this lesson. It's just going to be the thinnest 4 strings for the B and for the A. Okay, now let's talk about these little riffs we're going to do for each one of those chords one by one, right? Now for the E, here's the deal. We're going to start off by doing, okay, it's from 9 to 11 on the 5th string, right? From our index finger to our ring finger. That's the sort of note we're going to play. And then we're going to, after that little sequence, we're going to end with a double stop, meaning we're playing 2 strings at once on strings 3 and 4, 9th fret, okay? So I like to do an open E string just by itself. And and then you do the hammer on from 9 to 11. If you can hammer it on, great, right? And then play strings 3 and 4, which are also in the 9th fret. So you'll notice my index finger here is taking care of all the 9th fret notes. So that's all you're gonna do for that E chord. If you can't do the hammer on, you don't need to. Just pluck 9th, pluck 11th, and then get that index finger set up to do that bar, that mini bar in the 9th fret of the 3rd and 4th string. Okay, and the next part, this is going to set us up for going into the B, right? It's basically, remember that bar we have on the 9th fret with our index finger? Starting on the 3rd string from 9 to 11, back to 9, and then 4th string, 11. Okay, if you did it without hammering on, you actually can keep your index finger totally still. Just plant it on the 9th fret, and it's your left ring finger, which is doing all the dancing there. So those are the notes you really want to get cleanly. If you're able to do a hammer off, hammer on, and a pull off on that sort of first pluck of the 9th fret, we're just going to sort of bring this finger down hard. That's called a hammer on, and then pull it off hard. And if you do it correctly, you're going to get 3 different tones on one pluck. Really important part is you want to end with your ring finger here, 4th string, 11th fret, okay? Because that is going to set us up for where it needs to be for the B chord, which is the 4th string, 9th fret, okay? So that E measure, then you go down to that B position, okay? Another trick with this E, after I do that sort of double stop on strings 3 and 4, I'm going to sort of silence the strings with my right hand there. We don't want them sort of ringing out. Okay, so that's the sort of first thing there. I'm going to do a slow playthrough later on of everything with a simple tab and with my full tab. So if you want that zoomed in stuff that's slow, that's coming. But let's just go through the big parts first. Okay, so this is how we're going to start our measure of B major here. So again, the first little mini shape you want to get is frets 9, 8, and 7 on strings 2, 3, and 4, okay? You can sort of pluck those from thickest to thinnest. And if you can, you want to bar that 7th fret with your index finger, so when you go 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd and 1st string together, okay? Great little thing to practice there. And then here is where our pinky is going to come in. So for this B and for this A, all the flourish we're going to be adding is based on top of this core shape. We're just going to be adding our pinky on either for the B, it's all going to be on the 9th fret, and for the A, it's all going to be on the 7th fret. Okay? That was just sort of free playing there, but I just want you to understand the sort of the ingredients we're using here to pepper things up. So that's the first flourish we're adding, is our pinky on the thinnest string, 9th fret, right? So you are sort of arpeggiate that chord. Okay, so 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd and 1st together, hammer on to the 9th fret, repeat 9th fret by itself, and then do a 3 or 4 chord strum, 3 or 4 note strum of the thinnest strings, right? And you're going to end that B by going up to that 9th fret note again. And then you're going to bring this whole shape here, right? 9, 8, 7, 9, 8, 7, 9. We're going to sort of bring this shape down. Everything goes down 2 frets, I'm sorry. So everything will go down 2 frets. Just keep the shape intact though. Then you pluck that same 4 string, and then you take your pinky off. Whether you do a pull off, like I just did there, or you pluck after the pinky's gone. But you should end up in this shape, right? 7, 6, 5, 5. So far we have this. Okay, and then we're into our A. Now here's where I'm going to sort of simplify things a little bit, especially compared to what Pearl Jam is playing. So then next, we're going to sort of bring our pinky down to fret 7 of the second string, and then take it off. And the whole time we're going to be strumming that A. So 1 strum with your pinky down, and then 1 strum with your pinky off. So again, you end up on this core A shape, right? But it's this note that's being played when it's down, and then played again when it's removed, okay? Technically, I think Pearl Jam is doing this on the 3rd string. I like for this arrangement, for keeping it simple, to do it on the 2nd string instead, okay? And then for the last part of the A, we're gonna, those are the notes we want to accent, right? Thinnest string, 5th to 7th to 5th, and then 7th on the 2nd string. And then low E string is going to set us up for our riff we're going to do. Now really quick, if you want to get a bit more technical, you can do the hammer on and pull off on that thinnest string, and then that low E string, right? And that's going to set us up for our fill, the sort of E major pentatonic fill. Now what Pearl Jam is doing, I'm going to change this a little bit as well. I think they're sliding, they're doing a double stop on 12, and going up to 14, and then back to 14. Okay, I'm gonna keep it simpler. I'm gonna be in frets 9 and 12 only. That's all I'm gonna do. 12, 9, 12, 9 on the thinnest 2 strings only. And that last note, that 9th fret note, I'm going to pluck it and slide my hand all the way down and sort of take my hand off when it gets down here, but also kill the string with my right hand. So now we have the whole thing. This sort of simple version of it would sound like this. I'll do it again. Okay, so that's going to be what you're going to do there. If you can't do the hammer-ons, that's fine. You can just sort of pluck the notes individually. That would sound like this. Okay, and you get the idea there. So in the actual song, you're going to play this twice. And the second time you play it, on that last measure, you start with that low E string, and instead of doing this, what I'm going to do is pluck the low E string, wait, and then I'm going to do this double stop on 12th fret on the thinnest 2 strings, and then slide that down, and again, kill all the strings with my right hand, so it sort of stops all the bleeding out from happening there. Okay, so you play the intro twice. The second time you end it like that. Right? And then you're going to get into the verse of this song. Later on, I'll talk about some of the rhythm stuff. I'll show you an easier way to play this B major chord. Instead of doing the barred version here or the barred version here, there's going to be some open voicings I'm going to show you, right? So we can do an E, then we're going to go to this B, right? No barring required. We have some nice open strings used. And I'll also show you how you can use these other open voicings up here, right? I sit it's kind of addicting. Once you start going, you can't really stop. So now if you want to see me play everything, sort of no talking, zoomed in with the tabs on screen, head on over to my website, songnotes.net. You can find that additional video there. I also have this backing track available to download. This is a great thing to practice with. You can just practice your chord changes, practice your strumming, work on some pentatonic scale stuff. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with that. So I hope you enjoy this lesson. You'll find tons of other stuff. All the lessons on my website, songnotes.net, are made 100% by me. I take a lot of care in making sure that the video and the tabs and the downloads and the jam tracks and all that are sort of as helpful as they can be for getting you where you want to go with these great songs. So thanks for watching, y'all. This has been Yellow Ledbetter. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. And check out the other videos on my website. I think you'll dig them. Until next one, though, take care and bye-bye.